I'm your host, Richard Nina, and I want to welcome you guys to a very exclusive interview with one of Rio Honda's film students here. We have the one and only Luis. Luis, go ahead and tell us your full name.
Hi, everybody. My name is Luis Perez, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. We always want to welcome new students, film people that like to, just talk about film. And I just want to get to know you a little bit better before we get into the whole discussion or the core of the discussion. So, first off, what's your an interesting fact about your name?
I would say there's nothing really too interesting about my name. I'm named after my dad. I guess maybe hopefully one day, if in the future, if I ever have a kid, I'll probably name him after myself again. That way his name could be Luis the Third. Something a little different, something unique in his own way. But yeah, nothing too special about my name right now.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, everybody has like something unique to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way parents choose their names, which is interesting though, because a lot of names have a lot of meanings behind
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and talk about what's one fact that you probably wouldn't normally bring up in a conversation with or even in an interview, like anybody, like even when you're on the bus or even in a park. One fact that you wouldn't bring up normally.
One fact I would say is I am a big gamer. It's something I probably wouldn't bring up unless people ask me something like that. But if nobody else asked me, it'd probably be me being a big gamer. I'm a big fan of Call of Duty. I'm actually a Twitch streamer and stuff like that. I'm nothing nowhere big, but I stream every here and then. But yeah, I could play this game for countless hours. I could play anywhere between 6 to 10 plus hours without getting tired. I'm always having fun when I'm on the stakes. Had to drop it down a little bit because I had to start school, so I had to get my sleep schedule and everything fixed. But yeah, I'm a big gamer.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, even including me, I usually play more like Resident Evil or even Left 4 Dead game. I think it has something to do with zombies and all that. But
yeah,
they're interesting games though.
Oh yeah,
and,
totally.
The kind of games that you bring up too are really interesting too, and there's a lot of fan base behind this type of games.
Yeah, of course, man. And a lot of games are just fun in general. I like the whole zombie trilogy. Resident Evil was a game that I grew up playing when I was younger. It used to scare me a lot, but I was a big fan of Resident Evil.
Yeah, and then right now I'm a big fan because before, even when I was small, my mom wouldn't let me play those type of games. But now that I'm older, I can purchase my own games.
Exactly.
I'm the one that is playing my games. But there's still a lot of fan base behind that game, and there's a lot of following behind it.
Oh yeah, totally.
And I think there's even a remake of the Resident Evil series coming up on Netflix.
Yeah, I heard about that. I'm really excited to see it. Wait, is it like a movie or is it supposed to be like a show?
It's most likely gonna be a show.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. I actually like that. I would not mind a show Resident Evil because that anticipation, something. It'll be a new twist to the series, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah, but going on with everything that's going on, but we just want to know, where did you grow up exactly?
So I was born actually in Mexico, in Tijuana. And when I was younger, before I even turned 1, I came over here, and ever since then I've been raised here my entire life. I have no memory of me being over there. A little fun fact about me, I guess, is I'm actually a dreamer. I'm a DACA recipient. So, I never really know what it's like over there, but I've been growing up here my entire life.
Yeah. So, I mean, but how was your neighborhood growing up over here? Did
I would say they were pretty normal neighborhoods. I moved around a lot. I was in San Bernardino, then I came to Whittier, and then Riverside, and then I came back to Whittier again, where I'm living at right now. But every time, every neighborhood was chill. It was fun. Nothing dramatic ever really happened. It was just a cool, chill neighborhood all the time.
Yeah. So did you have any friends in that neighborhood, like a little gang that you guys had? Because I know a lot of people have their stories.
Yeah.
Smaller, they had the little gangs of neighborhoods. I know my sister was part of their small little clan of
I would say for me in when I was in Riverside, I did I went through that, that skater phase in middle school. I had the long hair,
Yes.
skinny jeans.
Yes.
That phase
Yes, I
that
remember that
everybody
too.
goes through.
Yeah.
You get me? So I went through
Yeah.
that phase, and me and all my middle school friends, we all lived really close to one another. You get me? So like we had a little crew. It was called the ODG, which referred to on the grind. Just us middle school kids, and we would just always hang out, and we have like our own little ramps or rails, and just like play skate all the time. So that was something like that was really it was a fun neighborhood. I had a good amount of friends in that neighborhood, so yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you bring that up because I was a skater in middle school too. We had our gang in our high school, even middle school, but they kind of didn't accept me at that point because I wasn't a skater per se. I was more like a poser in the beginning.
Everybody goes through that. You get me? Before I still I felt like to fulfill the skater look, you had to have the skinny jeans, the shirt. I went through that little poser phase because at first I only had one pair of skinny jeans, and I would like wear the fit for one day out of the week, and the rest of the week I had like baggy pants or whatever my mom like bought for me to dress up with. So everybody goes through that phase at first.
Yeah, I mean, it's just funny how that we have that like correlation right there that we were both skaters in our times. Yeah. Was there ever anything interesting happening in your city where you grew up, or like a scandal or something like that? Something big?
I wouldn't say anything like too big ever happened in the neighborhoods that I grew up. I mean, there was this one time in like my neighborhood. Like I said, I grew up in pretty quiet neighborhoods. Nothing ever big ever happened. This goes back to Riverside again. A lot of stuff happened in Riverside for me when I was there, but it goes back to Riverside again. And I remember there was one time, me and all my friends, even though we were skaters, we still like to like ride our bikes and stuff like that. It was a reliable, fastest way to get around. So there was this local spot that a lot of people knew of called the Jumps, which was in the hills. And pretty much what it was, like, people like built ramps for people could just ride their bikes and just jump off the ram, see what happens and stuff like that. And one time we all gathered up together and we were walking up the hill to get towards the Jumps, and we hear like this screeching noise of like tires, and at first we're like, well, what is that? We thought people were racing one another. So then we look around, we turn around, and we see the cars just going in a circle, like following one another. And we hear like a sound that sounds like fireworks, something like. And then we look up, but we're like, I don't see any fireworks popping off. And then we realize, one of my friends was like, that's not fireworks, those are gunshots. And we're like, oh, dude, it's a drive-by, or whatever you call it. It's a drive-by. So we start running up the hill, and stuff like that. Yeah. So we witnessed. That was we all witnessed our first drive-by, first and only drive-by. Actually, I don't want to say that's like the we all witnessed our first and only drive-by that day. So that's something that happened. It was in the local news, like the Riverside local news, because it was like in a quiet neighborhood where you really don't expect anything like that to ever happen. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny though because the fireworks, a lot of people confuse that by gunshots by fireworks because they sort of sound the same.
Exactly.
But there's always some differences that you can hear, because whenever it's 4th of July or even before the 4th of July, you always hear like those fireworks go boom.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, maybe it's someone shooting. So like instinctually you're like,
you're alert. Like you put your guard up. I get you. Yeah.
You're like that one SpongeBob.
Yeah, like after exactly,
like,
just
what's going
on? Yeah. No, but
you're always on high alert.
Exactly.
Because you don't know, because I mean, again, you don't know if it's actually a drive-by or someone shooting, or if it's actual fireworks.
Exactly. But, you had a point.
You have to always be careful.
Even
what you're actually going up against.
Even nowadays, like after that experience. Like whenever I'm like at home like chilling or something like that, and I hear like what sounds like a firework, now I'm just like, I don't know if that's a firework or if that's a gunshot. So now it has me on alert and stuff like that. But yeah.
Yeah. So you always have to be careful.
Exactly.
But how was growing up in high school like though for you?
Personally for me, it was fun, but like in my own way, because I wasn't like the typical high school kid, you get me? I didn't go to parties. I didn't go on dates when I was in high school. I didn't do all that stuff, you get me? I didn't go to like any of the school dances. The only school dance I went to was like prom, but that was like after, the reason why was because I was part of the wrestling team. So I was like really dedicated and committed to the sport. So
Yeah.
even though that sounds kind of boring of me not really doing anything and just focusing on wrestling, to me that was like really
Yeah.
fun because I met like my best friends that I have now. From there, like just great memories, all around. So it was fun for me.
Hmm. But I don't. You know what? I don't think it's normal though. I don't think it's boring though because I have somewhat similarities to that too. And I mean, it's funny how we sort of share a little bit of similarities.
Yeah.
Because even in high school for me, like I was never going to parties. My sister was, because she was like the rebellious one.
Yeah.
Versus like me, because I was the smallest in my family. I'm the smallest in my family. So my mom always was the one that was always like keeping a look over me. But my sister always had like her ways to slip out and do all that
Exactly.
type of
Yeah.
stuff.
That's the younger sibling right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I couldn't get away with a lot of things.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. For me, I'm the oldest in my family. So like I had to set the example, but I had a younger brother who was in high school who was like 2 years younger than me. But I didn't have, like I said, I didn't go through parties and none of that stuff. But my brother did all of that. Like I said, he was the rebellious one. So he was it was the other way around, So he was the one, going to parties, doing this and that. When people ask me, it's like, how was high school? I'm like, I should ask that guy. I'm like, he had more fun than, he went to parties and did more than I did,
Yeah. Yeah, so it's funny about that though. But I mean, did you have like any group of like friends that people knew throughout high school? Because I know a lot of groups they know, oh, they're the skaters, oh, they're these people, oh, there's that. Did you have like friends that were associated or known throughout your high school?
I feel like our group was in a way known because like oh, that's the wrestlers, because like for us, we everybody hangs out in different areas of the school. You get me? So for us, we used to hang out in our wrestling coach's room. That's where like our spot was to go. We just chill in there most of the time because we were like cutting weight throughout the year. So we did not want to be around food. So we're like, all right, let's just group up where we're all going through the same thing and we don't have to worry about that. But people knew us as the wrestlers and stuff like that. So yeah, it was just stuff like that. People just got to know us mainly because our a couple of the guys were in the business academy. So in that academy, that's where all the cheerleaders were at. So like they got really friendly with the cheerleaders because the popularity standards and stuff like that. So like the same. So them knowing them led to the cheerleaders knowing us, and people knowing who we were and stuff like that.
Yeah. So you were kind of like the popular guys in your high school, right?
Not really. I would say not us. It was just like those three friends that were in the academy. We were just there for like. Just there, like they would do all the talking. This now we were just like there, just quiet. I'm like, oh, I don't know how to talk to a girl. Like, what's going on? Simple that.
Yeah, because I remember we were. I mean, they knew us, sure, but we were like the skater kids that we were just hanging out in the stairs.
Yeah.
Because during those breaks that we had. During periods, we were always hanging out like with our friends. The skaters always hanging out at the stairs, but we weren't like very like. Known. Maybe some people were known just because they were really good at skating, so they were well known over there.
Exactly.
But yeah. So, but was there ever any scandal that you guys ever had in high school, like the biggest one that they even still talk to this day?
I mean, there was like a couple. I mean, now that I could think about it in a way, there was like one time about like a student and a teacher. You get me? Like hooking up, having some sort of thing. Like I think it was like my senior year when it happened. No, it was my senior year and stuff like that. Like that was like the biggest scandal of the year for me. So like everybody like knew about it, what happened. You've heard the stories before of what happened. So yeah, something like that happened at my school and stuff like that.
Yeah, but how about you personally though? Like, have you ever been like in a situation where you thought it was like a big, like where you got in trouble and then a lot of people thought it was a big deal, but you didn't see it as a big deal? Like, was there ever a situation like that? I
mean, throughout high school, I was really cautious of not doing anything like stupid in a way, mainly because I was part of the wrestling team. My senior year, I was a captain. I was on the varsity team, and I really didn't want to mess up my senior year. You get me? I was really wanted to have a good season, so I never really got in trouble. Throughout high school, I got my work done. I kept my head down, and I just focused on what I had to do. I mean, if you go a little farther back, if we can we go a little farther back? Yeah.
You're free.
Cool. So I remember there was one time when I was in middle school. Back to Riverside. Here we go. Back to Riverside again. we were in middle school, and my brother was like in elementary school, I was in middle school, and the standards, like, oh, he has a brother that's in middle school, the kids in elementary school are scared. So what happened was, my brother got in a fight. Like I said, my brother's the rebellious type. He got in a fight and this and that. And I told my brother jokingly, I was like, you know what? You tell that kid that me and my friends are gonna go beat him up, right? But it was just a joke. You get me? And then what's it called? The next day, I get called to the principal's office, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? I'm in class, and they're like, you gotta go to the principal's. I'm like, oh, what did I do? So I watch the principal's office, and he sits me down, and the first thing he said, he's like, so I heard you want to beat up a kid, and I was like, what? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, we got news from the local elementary school that you wanted to fight a kid. I'm like, no. I'm like, they took out of context. I'm like, it was just a joke. I didn't mean it. I was just being sarcastic. Yeah. You get me? And he's like, oh, okay. But that's something that I didn't really think was a big deal, but like they took it out of proportion. I mean, I guess because I guess they're right in a way, but to me, I didn't take it serious because I was just joking. I wasn't gonna do anything.
Yeah, it's like those people that make like pranks on YouTube, and then they end up telling the person, it's just a prank.
Yeah, they're about to get punched, and they're like, no, it's a prank. It's a prank. Yeah, exactly.
It's just a prank, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That was just me. I'm like, hey, I was just joking. I didn't mean it in any way.
Yeah, but I mean, it happens all the time when you're a kid. Sometimes you just don't measure yourself.
Exactly. Exactly. Sometimes you just say things that you don't really mean, and it blows out of proportion.
Yeah. So I mean, now moving on to college now, like you're an adult now. Like, how do you see your past, your present, and your future self?
If I was to say anything about my past, in my past I was really confused. Leading back just throughout high school, I was just really confused. Even after I graduated high school, I was still confused. I didn't really know what I was doing with myself. I felt like I was going to school because before I was an electrical engineer major. That's what I was going for. And I feel like before, it wasn't what I wanted to do. I was just doing it because my parents wanted me to do that. So I was like, you know what? My parents are paying for my school. I'm throwing a little bit in, but they're paying for most of my school. So I'm just going to do it for them. You get me? So I was doing that in the past, but I didn't really enjoy it. I wasn't having fun and stuff like that. So, I took a break from school, which led to me being here now to the present, because this is my first semester back at Rio Hondo after my break. And now I'm like more motivated than ever because I know what I want to do. And like I'm investing my own time and money into this now because I'm an adult now. I have my own job. I have my I'm just responsible now. And I'm using all like my money and my time to the best that I can, which is being in school now, pursuing film as a passion and something that I really want to do. And then leading on to the future, I try not to think too much about it because I just don't want to stress myself out. But I do like to set goals for myself, like a year from now I want to do this, and then have little points throughout my life that I just want to have for myself, and like just reach them, and that eventually get to the end game of of what I want to do.
Right. So I mean, was your first semester hard then, or was it like not a big deal for you then?
So right after high school, my first semester was really easy. You get me? I was on top of things. It was like my first year was pretty good. My first semester, everything went pretty good. It was my second year at Rio Hondo that really got to me because I just wasn't having fun with what I was doing. I was like, I don't like this. I'm wasting time. I was like not even going to class most of the semester. So I was just like, you know what? And I'm just gonna stop wasting my parents' money, my money, and my time, and I'm just gonna take a break. So. And that
was because you didn't like engineering.
I just didn't like engineering. I told myself, I had to make a sacrifice. I was like, you know what? I understand my parents are not gonna agree with me taking a break and stuff like that, but I needed to do that for myself. I'm like, I need this break because I need to find out what I really want to do with my life.
But are you decided now on what you want to do? Is it film or are you taking this class just like as a filler for what you want to do?
In a way, it's kind of both, but I really want to be involved with something with film, either being telling my own story, capturing it, being in front of a camera, or even being behind a computer just editing. All of that all that stuff just fascinates me, and I'm really interested in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think like even me for me too, it's like just having to like I think for me it's more like about ideas
Mm-hmm.
and like having because I always like whenever I read a book or something, like I always come up with like ideas in my mind. Like I read the book and then I see like the film.
Yeah, yeah, I get
I'm
you.
not sure if it's the same.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
I totally understand that. You get me? I'm the same way. Whenever like whenever somebody's telling me a story or whenever I'm reading a story, like
Uh-huh.
I picture it in my head and stuff like that. So it's the same thing for me.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's how I always see like when I read books, I always see films. So like whenever I have an idea, like I like to have it seen like in real life.
Mm.
I guess if that makes sense.
No, that totally makes sense for me. Yeah, I totally understand that.
Yeah. So I mean, and it's crazy how nowadays it's different how we're doing all the filmmaking, how we're doing the interview by Zoom instead of having a like in person.
Mm-hmm.
So how has COVID-19 affected you, or in your life? Has it been proven a challenge for you in school or in your personal life?
It has proven a big challenge in my life. Recently, COVID did hit home, and like I did lose a family member to it, and that really just personally to me affected me dramatically because I was really close to this person.
Yeah.
So when it happened, I was just like, you know what? Like I said, this is my first semester back at school. So when it happened, this was before school started, I was just like, I can't be at school right now. Like I'm mentally not there, and I just like I'm just not in the right mindset to be here and stuff like that. And then I guess to me I was like, you know what, just use don't like look at it. I mean, it's a negative thing, don't get me wrong, it's a negative thing of what happened, but I'm like, you have to like the way I see things now is like everything that I do is for that person. So like me being in school right now, it's like I'm doing this for him, you get me? And then besides the personal like issues that this has brought to me is like with like other things, like I see it in a good way because like I have more time to like work on myself and stuff like that, because like I said, I'm a big like gamer, so I get to like stream more, put in more hours, just focus on something I like to do, perfect my craft. And it does suck though because we're locked up all the time now. We don't have the ability to like really be out there anymore, so like the classes being in like, especially this class, like I really would have wished it would have been in person. Because it would have been like a really fun class to take in person. It would have been like more hands-on, but like I feel like it being over Zoom really has to like push the way you see things now. You have to really open your mind now, get really creative with how you do things, so
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of saw that too when I started with the TV 135. I kind of saw, I was like, I would prefer it to be in person, just because it's like, what if I need to ask questions like immediately, like right there, even though like Friday, the Zoom class, it's immediately the teacher's there. But I prefer it always to be like in person.
Exactly.
But then again, this whole situation has changed absolutely everything. Like it's our regulations. You can't even go outside without wearing a mask.
Exactly.
You just gotta be regulated all the time. But but I'm glad that we have this over the Zoom meeting. For TV 135. But I mean, how, like the film that we watched, Meshes of the Afternoon on Friday. Like, how would you describe the film? How would you describe its structure? Like, how does it follow the traditional story structure?
I mean, I would say kind of it does. To be honest, the way that I saw it, it really didn't. To me personally, because the film was just confusing the entire time. Before, whenever I see a movie, like I understand like the main character. Like I understood the characters throughout the movie, but that was like the only thing that I understood. You get me? I didn't know what was going on, how it was everything was supposed to happen, and I feel like this film was like you're not supposed to understand it until the end. Even though nothing made sense to me throughout the movie, at the end I was able to sit down, think about it, probably watch it again a couple more times, and I'm like, all right, now I know how everything was supposed to happen. Like now I know why this and this happened. So I feel like it was just like a weird structure in a way.
Oh I mean the film you have to like watch, because on Friday we watched it, but then again you always have to like rewatch it, because I didn't get it either at the beginning, because it was kind of hard to understand the structure and everything that's going on.
Exactly.
But what themes did you see in the film? Like, how did you interpret the film? And, the foundational ideas like in the story.
I feel like for me, like the theme of the film was like love, because there's something has to happen between that the woman and the woman and the man in the film. You get me? Something must have happened to cause what happened. For me, the way I saw the movies, the man killed the girl. So I think that that's my opinion. Everybody has their opinion, but for me, the guy killed her. So I feel like something with love has to do with the reason that he did that. I feel like self-reflection is another thing for me, because at first I thought it was suicide. I thought she committed suicide. So when the mere character kept coming like out, I felt like the reason for the character having a mirror was because she kept seeing herself as the one who committed the crime. You get me? Until the end, until you realize who actually did it. And then I feel like it has to do with trust, because she put so much trust into that person that at the end he was the one that betrayed her, because she trusted him because he had the key to the house as well. You know what I mean? So that's it's trust. It's trust to me, because throughout the film it shows like the key. So to me, I'm just like, you know what? It's trust, because he had the key to the house as well. So I'm like, you get what I mean? So
you know what? Now that you talk about it, it's true. I didn't think about that. The key.
Yeah, because it took me a while to understand it, but like that, I feel like for me, a big scene to like the twisting point for me was that scene where they're on the table and it's like the three girls. You get me? And each one gets the key, and I feel like to me, I felt like she was in limbo in a way, in like a limbo stage. And each time she was getting closer to figure out who murdered her. So I felt like every time, like the table with the key, and then the last person, the last one, how it was a knife. To me, it was like, all right, it's supposed to be a different person right there. So it's showing that it's not her that killed herself. It had to lead to somebody else, So that's the way that I saw it.
That's crazy though, because there's a lot of there's always intentionality behind every movie. And you sometimes we don't pick it up immediately, but that's why you have to like rewatch the film or the video again. I mean, again, what do you notice about the visual language of the film, the intentional cinematography or the production design? The sets and the props and everything like that.
I feel like the props really had to do a big part in this film. I really think that each prop, like at first you didn't really think what was going on, but it was like there were like clues that led to what really happened, which was, to me, it led to the murder of the film, or you get me, because it had the keys. He had a key. The mirror effect was something that was really important for me, because throughout the whole film you don't really see you think it's death at first, but to me, since it had the mirror face, it wasn't showing its face until she figured out who it was. So at the end of the film, there's a scene where she's laying in bed, and there's a mirror at the corner of the bed, and the reflection of the mirror points to the guy. You get me? So to me, that was like, all right, he did this. But even the visual effects, because there's a scene in the beginning of the movie where she walks up the staircase, and there's like a view of like the dead flowers, and she just looks at them, and then she just walks by like if nothing happens, right? At the end of the film, he does the same thing. You get me? He walks up the steps, he looks at them the same way she did, and then he looks away, and it's like the same thing. So it's pretty much, for me, throughout the whole film, she was like living his footsteps before she got murdered. You get me? That's the way I took it. She was in her murderer's footsteps and seeing how it all went down for her. And that's the way I see it. But other than that, it was totally cool, super unique in its own way.
I mean, but I think there's a lot of symbology behind it too. Like, what do you see any other symbolic meaning behind the film?
I really feels like, to me, it's like you can't. I mean, I don't want to say you can't trust anybody, but sometimes it's always like the one person you least expect. You get me? I feel like that would be to me that's what that's what it would be.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, nowadays you can't really trust
Yeah,
a lot of people.
exactly. So
But but yeah, but then again, you always have to look out. I guess you have to look at that person really well,
mm-hmm.
and then start to gain their trust and everything, and then open your heart to them, and then
Exactly.
soon enough you'll gain their trust, and that's how you trust people. At least for me.
Yeah,
how
exactly.
I see it,
Yeah, same way. It's every
Yeah.
once in a blue moon that you get somebody like that, like in the film. She trusted him, and now she's dead because of him.
Yeah.
But that's once in a blue moon, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. But do you think the film is talking to everyone, or is it to a specific group of people?
I think, well, at first, like I said, I feel like it was meant for at first I thought it was for everybody, because for example, when we were in class, when we all watched the film, when the professor was like, when he brought us back to the class and everything, he was like, all right, so what do you guys think of the film? I was the first one to just like kind of slide down and be like, I don't want to answer this because I have no idea. When I first watched the film, I was like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm about to fail this. And then seeing everybody's like energy, everybody was like, I don't want to answer it. And then when finally somebody was like, you know what? I'm gonna be honest, I didn't understand anything that happened throughout the film. The second whoever said it, I was just like, yeah, I second that. I did not understand the film whatsoever.
Yeah.
So at first when that happened, I was like, you know what? This film is for anybody. It all just depends on how they take it and how they view the film. But then I had my brother watch it, and he was lost. He didn't even have a second thought about it. He was just like, I don't know what happened. I had my coworker see it, and the same thing. They were just like, what's going on? This is a weird film. Why am I watching this? And I'm just like, okay, maybe it's not meant for everybody. Maybe it's meant for people with like a more creative mind, or open-minded, or okay with seeing things in a different perspective and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the film can be a little confusing at times, but then again, I mean, you just gotta look at it again and then take your time. And just rewatch the film, and then nitpick little by little.
Totally, yeah. I was so confused the first time. Second time, I was still I'm still confused till now. You get me? But I have a better understanding, and I see it in a different way. Like you said, you just gotta rewatch the film and just let it soak in, and see see what you missed the first time.
Oh yeah, I mean, and again, you can take a lot of things from that old film and then put it into your film and then just work from there.
Totally. The use of props in that movie was like crazy. For me, it was crazy. It was like it took it to another level, because I never before in films, like when I see a prop, I would be like, okay, everybody knows what that's for. I mean, everybody is like for example, like a key. Everybody knows, oh, that key is to unlock this. For me in this film, the key was different because the key referred to me as trust throughout the film, because the guy was the only other person that had the key to the house. You get me? So it was more than just it just unlocks a door.
Yeah, that's very true. But I mean, now looking at the whole entire interview, if you were given the chance to produce a film, and given the budget to produce one, what would be the themes of your film, the story, the synopsis, category? How would you do it, or what would you do?
If I had to pick a category, I would definitely go into like supernatural. I'm really a big fan of supernatural stuff, mainly because anybody could relate to that. You get me? It doesn't have to, like, it's not for a specific group of people, because supernatural is based on like real life. Anybody could experience it. Everybody has some sort of encounter with it. But I want to take it a step further, because I feel like a step further by getting into like astral projection and sleep paralysis for me. Growing up, I've always been somebody that had experience with sleep paralysis, encountered some pretty scary stuff that still haunts me to this day. But the thing about these things, that not everybody experiences it. You get me? Only certain people experience it, and then when people are like, ask you like, what is it like, and you try to explain it to them, they're like, oh, it's not that bad. I'm like, no, it's terrible. I just can't explain it to you. So being able to visually explain it to people and show them the in real depth of what that really feels like is something that I would personally really love to do.
Yeah, and it would be a good concept to come up with.
Mhm.
You know, sleep paralysis. I don't think that there's been a film talking about sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
At least I haven't heard any. But
Yeah.
you know, it'd be good. It'd be pretty cool to see a student film project.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
And then, yeah, and then having to like actually be produced into like the big the theaters and all that. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, like for me, what was it? Insidious was a film that really like took it to the next level for me. For that, because in the film they kind of get into a little bit of detail about it, because in the film the kid's able to like astral project, and that allows like demons and spirits to get closer to his body. So like when I saw that, that just opened up my mind. So I'm like, dude, we need to expand like the knowledge of this and have a more visual impact and show people what it's really like. You know what I mean? So just films that get me thinking like that, it's just like just fascinates me.
Yeah, that's true. I think it fascinates everybody though, because it's so grounded in reality.
Yeah.
So a lot of people like to flock and see those type of films.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess just to get like an experience out of it, or feel something.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so
like
I think it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, after like people watch a film like that, it's like for me, whenever I watch a scary movie, I'm like, dude, I'm not sleeping tonight. I'm for sure getting sleep paralysis or something tonight. Being able to have that impact towards people would be, would be for sure a goal of mine.
Yeah, and I remember watching, even when I was smaller, and I shouldn't have watched the film, Jeepers Creepers.
Oh man.
With my
Oh no,
with my
man.
sister. Yeah.
No, even watching that movie throughout the day, I was still freaked out, man. I've been seeing tweets.
Yeah.
I've been seeing tweets lately about like it's Jeepers Creepers sleeps for like 28 years, and they're like, oh, those 20.
It's this year, right?
It's this year, so I'm like, all right, it can't get any worse. What about I get Jeepers Creepers this year? I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah. I mean, we already got World War III at the beginning of the year.
Exactly.
We got Corona, like what, almost 6 months already?
Yeah, it's
5 months, something like that.
Man. Yeah, we have all this terrible stuff happening. So I'm like, dude, it can't.
Yeah.
I'm like, we keep saying it can't get any worse, and it gets worse. So I'm just like, all right, okay, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it's just gonna get worse, but
exactly.
I mean, who knows? Who knows what will happen?
Who knows,
Yeah, but I mean, thank you so much for coming on to this interview, for taking the time to talk with us, talk with all of us, the whole class.
Oh yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for giving me the chance.
Yeah, of course, and we're always interested in listening to all our other classmates in the class. So hopefully we'll hear what they have to say in their interviews and in their projects coming up on Friday.
Oh yeah, I'm so interested to hear what everybody has to say. Especially on the film, I want to hear what everybody's own opinion and stuff like that. But yeah, I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to be on here. Thank you for listening to my nonsense that some people think I talk about, because when I talk about like stuff that I'm passionate about and like certain topics, people are just like why are you talking about this? Like, well, you're weird. But to me, that weird is being normal, So yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's a normal thing. I think people just need to get used to that.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. Like I said, once again, thank you for letting me be here.
Yeah, of course, and again, once again, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Everyone looking at the interview, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. So tune in next time, and we'll have a spicy interview for you guys next time. So tune in for that. So as always, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care, everybody.
Bye.